Hello, this is Grand Master Ronald Stone for another Thoughts for the Day podcast. I want to talk today about the concept of learning the martial arts by watching YouTube videos or practicing by Zoom. Just really quickly, on a personal note, years ago, when they started coming out with all these martial arts videos, of which there's now a million, I saw a really cool technique and I was anxious to try it. So my instructor, being a well-mannered and open-minded person, allowed me to practice this technique that I had seen on YouTube. It didn't work at all, and instead of the excruciating pain that it was supposed to produce, my instructor just sat there and smiled at me. Well, that's when I realized that it was very similar to trying to teach someone to be a mechanic and teaching them how to screw in a screw with a screwdriver and say, you must tighten it. Well, great. How tight is tight? Until you have a screwdriver in your hand and you start twisting, you don't know whether that's going to snap the screw or whether it's going to stay loose. You have to do it. And watching it on a video or trying to take classes by video where you don't feel the results on yourself or the effect on others, I think is not only worthless, it's dangerous. That's not to say it's not good entertainment value or even maybe educational by seeing what other styles can offer, but I don't believe a lot of what I see on the internet, and I would caution you to be very, very careful about it. The other thing is, talking about this whole concept of learning on the internet, we all know about the keyboard warriors, and we all know about the people that have the famous bullshido criticisms. And I want to say this. You have to understand that when you practice the martial arts, you have to have a partner that is willing to go with the flow. Because if you're doing, say, an arm bar, and yeah, he resists appropriately, great. But if he doesn't flip out of it, or if he doesn't tap out, he runs the risk of hyperextending his elbow or breaking his wrist. Some of these techniques may look like they're not effective because they're a demo. And I think that the fact is that there's two kinds of demos out on the internet that you have to be aware of. One is the legitimate demo that's done with the intent of demonstrating a specific technique and educating. And then there's the demos that I call ego demos, and that's so that somebody can promote themselves to the public and that can brag about their skills. And so they have students flying all through the air and whatever. You have to be aware of the fact that if you see something, that you have to be very critical of it, but you don't necessarily have to criticize it until you know for sure who's doing it, why they're doing it, what's about. So when you make a demo, that has to be done from various angles with a good explanation of the why and the where for the technique, and make them aware that you have a compliant student or partner in the demo. I think that's one of the more important factors in doing this. I thought at first, boy, this is great. And then I realized they got people out there selling entire martial arts curriculums on YouTube or Zoom. And I'm sorry, that's just not the way you learn. I would challenge anybody to get in the ring with a professional boxer who's only been shadow boxing on YouTube videos and never actually got punched or punched someone. I think that the martial arts definitely need to be practiced partner hand to hand. But at the same time, doesn't necessarily mean that all YouTube videos are fake. I think we need to be more discerning with it. And that's just my thoughts for today. Thank you. Comments are always appreciated.